Hi guys, hey, it's FranSleeved. So we are gonna make some tuna melt cups. All right, here we go. Okay, the first thing we're gonna do is spray this cupcake tin with some spray butter. Love me some spray butter. I get this stuff at Aldi, super cheap. We use it for everything. All right, and I'm going to preheat the oven at 350 because I want it to sit in there a little bit longer. All right, so I am going to start with the tuna. This is bumblebee tuna, chunk lake tuna in water, and I'm going to use three 5-ounce cans. I'm going to drain them. All right, so I'm going to start with 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise. So look, you know how I said in one of my videos that my kids lose all my stuff and they say they don't touch it? So I found this at Marshall's. That's all connected. So I'm not disconnecting it. They'll have to all be washed. I don't know. All right, so 3 tablespoons I'm gonna start out with. All right, this is 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise, and while this may be okay for some, and you can go with it, I'm going to add 1 more tablespoon. All right, I like the way it looks with 1 more tablespoon. I also forgot to include this in the picture. I'm just gonna put just a little bit. I like the little whatever that it gives it. So I'm just gonna put half a teaspoon of that. So just half a teaspoon of the mustard. And really and honestly, it's just for, I guess, it's taste. It has a little zing to it. And even if I just use a little bit, it's just that little zing that I like. So I'm adding that. Again, it was half a teaspoon of mustard. I like this thing, but it's pretty heavy with everything together. Sorry. Okay. And then for the lemon, I'm just gonna take a little bit to taste. Like, I don't know. I like lemon. I like putting lemon in everything. And now with the relish. I'm gonna add half a tablespoon of relish, and I may add another one. It depends on how it looks after the half. So I don't like to cheat. So there's half, and let me stir it up so that you can see it. So here is half a tablespoon. For me, I know you've heard me say in other videos that I like relish. So I am going to add another half tablespoon. So this recipe will need a full tablespoon. And then I love buying these things from Aldi's because they're super cheap and they're real bacon. They have 3 grams of protein and only 1.5 grams of fat per serving. So they're incredibly useful, and they taste like real. They're not that like other stuff. So I'm gonna put 1 tablespoon of bacon bits in this recipe. Okay, so that's 1 tablespoon. I'm gonna stir this up, and then we're gonna add the cheese. All right, so what I'm gonna do with the cheese is I'm gonna use this cheese. It's 2% Colby Jack, and I'm only gonna put 1 serving in it. So I'm gonna use the 1/4 cup measurement, and actually that's not true. I lied. I'm gonna put half a cup. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I want some of it in the mixture, and then I want a little bit on top of each cup, so of each taco melt cup. So that way, when I put everything in MyFitnessPal, I don't go over a certain amount. I know exactly what I'm distributing between all 12 cups. So I'm gonna fill this, oh, you can't see what I'm doing here. So I'm gonna fill this half a cup measuring little cup thing that I have. I'm gonna fill that with half a cup of cheese. And I like to use frozen cheese, so this is very, very cold, because it melts better in the oven, and you get that stringy gooey yumminess when you use frozen cheese. And a very dear friend of mine gave me this tip a long time ago. And so we keep our shredded cheese in the freezer for the most part. Especially when we cook recipes. So we buy them at Harris Teeter when they're like buy 2 get 3 free, and we keep one in the refrigerator and the other 4 in the freezer and change them out as we use them. All right, so I am going to take this 1/2 cup and I'm going to pour it in this little bowl, and it'll keep me honest, right? Because that's all I'm using is what's in this bowl, which actually it's a lot. But I'm going to put in my Fitness Pal, so we'll see. We'll find out together how this ends up adding up. And yes, I like to clean as I cook. It's less of a mess to clean up later. All right, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon into the actual mixture and another tablespoon in the mixture. So 2 tablespoons into the mixture so that there's some cheesiness in the tuna itself. And then we'll spread out the wontons in each cupcake thingy-majigger, and we'll put it in there and we'll go to town. All right, so I'm gonna line each of these cups with a wonton. And now let me tell you about this. I use these wonton wrappers. You find them at Walmart. I thought that I was doing something great or awesome or whatever you want to call it. I went to Food Lion and I thought, oh, let me get the major brand, which is NSOYA, I think, of these wonton wrappers and egg roll wrappers. And so I bought them and I brought them home without even thinking, and I used them. And then when I put them in my Fitness Pal, I was like, oh my goodness, they have like double the amount of carbs that these other ones have. So we actually threw them away because the girls even didn't like them. They said it was much doughier and it seemed thicker. Yep. So we're sticking to Walmart, which is surprising, right? Because usually, I mean, you can find just about anything at Walmart, but usually I get better stuff somewhere else. So I was pleasantly surprised that it's going to be better for us and those of us that are doing this bariatric living now to stick with something that we have at Walmart, that they have at Walmart, because it's better. All right, so I've lined all of these with a wonton wrapper. There is no science to it, I don't believe. I made taco cups. I think I showed you those the other night. Those were with the NYOSA wonton wrappers, and they had a lot of carbs. So these are better. And so again, I've lined them up. I don't think there's a science to it. I think it is what it is. And so when I spoon it out, I'm going to use my tablespoon to spoon it out, the tablespoon container, just to make sure that I am getting the same amount in each one. And then I'll go back and redo it. So this is going to take me a while. I'm not going to video me doing all of this because that would be crazy, right? So I'm trying to fix it here. So with one hand, which is pretty difficult. Okay. So then I got 1 tablespoon, and I'm going to put it in, and I know it's going to take more than 1 tablespoon, so I'm going to keep putting them in 1 tablespoon at a time until I fill it and I use all of this, okay? Okay, so here they are filled up, and I actually fit 2 tablespoons of the tuna mixture that we made. I had a 1/4 tablespoon left, and I ate it. So my Fitness Pal, to be accurate, I am going to put in another wonton as if there was we'll have to cut a wonton in 1/4 piece. And I'm going to say that there are 12 1/4 servings to be fair. Okay. So I'm going to now I'm going to start sprinkling some cheese, and I'm going to do the same thing. Now, you guys can just eyeball it. I'm a math teacher and I need accuracy, so that is my anal retentiveness, I guess. So I am going to use the half a teaspoon to measure each one. I'll clean off that mustard. So I'm going to use this half a teaspoon measure to measure out the cheese for each one, and then we'll see what happens and how much we have left over. But again, you can just eyeball it. And there they are. I'm going to pop them in the oven. I ended up using 1/2 plus 1/8 teaspoon of cheese, and that of course did it evenly across the board for all of them. So the accuracy part, I timed it, took me 8 minutes to make sure it was accurate using the tablespoon measure for the tuna and the 1/2 plus the 1/8 measure for the cheese. So again, that's up to you. You can eyeball it or you can choose accuracy. So I am going to put it in the oven now, and we'll take a look at it when they're done. Okay, so this was 15 minutes on 350. I just realized that I forgot to put salt and pepper, but I will have a salad with this, so with 2 of them. So I'll put my salt and pepper in that. All right, hope you enjoyed. Bye.